Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round one of the League Cup that happened at Die Hard Games on November 4th, 2023. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central at Die Hard Games, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format anyone wants, really. More info in the description. League Challenge, Thursday, November 16th at 6 p.m. Central at Die Hard Games, and check out Pokemon's event locator for more premier events at Die Hard Games, such as League Challenges, League Cups, and pre-releases. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good stuff. But let's get into this round one. On the left, we have Lost Zone. On the right, Mew. Lost Zone starting things off with the Battle VIP Pass here. That is an item card that you can only play on your first turn, but when you do, you search your deck for two basic Pokemon and put them onto the bench. We got a Comfey in the active spot, so we're probably going to see a Comfey and a Greninja come on down here, but not before the player takes the understood first deck search. Just a little bit longer. It's understood that this is the first time we're looking at our deck. Want to take inventory of what's in there, what's in the prizes. Do our best to, at least. Comfey and Radiant Greninja are going to hit the field here. Active Comfey is going to use Flower Selecting to take a look at the top two cards of the deck and send one into the Lost Zone. I can't keep up here. Radiant Greninja discarded a basic energy with its ability to draw two more cards. A switch card let the other Comfey come into the active spot. It used its Flower Selecting ability to take a look at the top two, and we're going to send one card to the Lost Zone, the Escape Rope, and something else. That's the debate here. Looks like the something else went, I guess, over the Battle VIP Pass. There we go. Escape Rope's okay to go into the Lost Zone for some more setup, right? Second Battle VIP Pass being resolved here. Maybe a third Comfey and a Cramorant will come on down here. No, we're eyeing straight away that Mew counter Drapion there. We'll see what our player decides to pick ultimately. Third Comfey and Drapion. Drapion, as you know, pretty much attacks for free into Mew, and Mew's weak to dark, so one shots Mew. Switch card into that third Comfey there. Third Flower Selecting being resolved here, sending a Water Energy into the Lost Zone, keeping the other card and passing things over. Pretty good turn one. Equally matched by double Battle VIP Pass and Featherball here. You guys know what VIP Pass does by now. Featherball lets you search your deck for a Pokemon with free retreat. So we're going to see, yeah, straight up 5 Pokemon here. The bench completely full. Exactly what Mew wants to see. Definitely feeding into that Drapion and its ability, but I mean, what are you going to do? You have to execute your game plan. Triple Genesect V found. Meloetta joins them, as well as Mew. A second Mew V on the bench there. In the meantime, while we're shuffling, I'm going to take a look at Drapion, so I could let you guys know what's up with that. Trekking Shoes being played to look at the top card of the deck. You can discard it and draw another card, or just keep that card, switch card going away, the other card being kept. Double Forest Seal Stone being attached to the bench here, the bench Genesect, and now we're seeing our first Fusion Strike system, drawing up to 6 cards since there's 6 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. Just Mew things here. Cramomatic being played. You discard an item card, then flip a coin. If heads, computer search. Search your deck for a card, any card. Pick a card. So yeah, over on the left here, that Drapion has the Wild Style ability. This Pokemon attacks costs a colorless less for each of your opponent's Single Strike, Rapid Strike, and Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. So normally would cost 4 colorless, but since there's 6 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, it can attack for free. Dynamic Tail, 190 damage, and this attack also does 60 damage to one of your Pokemon. There's your Professor's Lab lesson for the Drapion V today. Cramomatic is resolved, and looks like we found a Fusion Energy with that. So potentially looking to attack with that Meloetta on turn 1. Fusion energy being attached to the Meloetta, and yeah, we can do it. The Forest Seal Stone is there, but not before an Ultra Ball, discarding 2 cards to search the deck for a Pokemon. No Pokemon will be found here, I imagine. That's just used to thin the hand down to make the Genesect V Fusion Strike system ability a little more potent. Second Fusion Strike system. Looking for that Alessa's Sparkle here. It's guaranteed either way with the Forest Seal Stone, but maybe better to draw into it and save the stone. Choice Belt being attached to that Bench Mew V, and third Fusion Strike system for 1 this time, it looks like. No Alessa's Sparkle found yet, so now do we look for it? Yep. Forest Seal Stone. Star Alchemy, search the deck for 1 card. Searching for that Alessa's Sparkle. The active and the bench Meloetta are the targets. That Alessa's Sparkle lets you search the deck for a Fusion Strike system and attach it. Attach a Fusion Strike energy to two of those targets, or to each of those targets. So Fusion Strike energy going on to the active Mew and the bench Meloetta. Meloetta's fully charged up. Pat to the Peak coming down, shutting down those non-rule box, or those rule box Pokemon abilities. And Meloetta takes the KO on the opposing Comfey. Melodious Echo, that's the attack. Alright, on the left, Comfey uses Flower Selecting. Looking at the top 2 cards of the deck, gonna send one of them to the Lost Zone. Looks like that Course Experiment is gonna be kept, but we're making sure that's the correct choice. Nest Ball, yeah, Nest Ball could go to the Lost Zone, right? Pokestop put into play. That card, the famous Pokestop. You can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, keep any item cards you find with the Pokestop, and then discard the rest. So 1 item, 2 item, and Psychic Energy found. So Psychic Energy hits the bin there. Not the worst Pokestop. We got 4 cards in the Lost Zone now. Escape Rope coming down. The opponent promotes a new active Pokemon first, and then you do the same. So we're probably going to see a Genesect come up here. Though it has 190 HP, so the Drapion will still knock it out. Well, no, actually going for the Mew. Okay. Drapion comes up, of course, and it's ready to attack with its dynamic tail for free, thanks to that Wild Style ability. Debating on playing some more cards here from the hand on the Lost Zone side. Boss's Orders actually coming down. Alright, that was interesting. Boss's Orders on the Mew that had a Fusion Strike energy. Though the active Mew had Choice Belt on it, a resource on it, our player decided that the Fusion Strike energy is a more important resource to remove from play when there is a KO here. Lost Vacuum being played. You send a card to the Lost Zone, and then you may send a Stadium or a Tool card in play to the Lost Zone. Mirage Gate hitting the Lost Zone. Interesting. To Lost Zone, the opponent's Choice Belt. Alright. And then Drapion takes the KO on the opposing Mew. Easy. Double Turbo Energy being attached to the active Mew, backup Mew being put onto the bench. Power Tablet being played to give plus 30 damage to those Fusion Strike Pokemon attacks. Mew in the active spot evolving to that Mew VMAX. It's ready to attack. Now we just need to see a Lost City. That would be ideal. Or at least a Pat to the Peak to slow down that Drapion V or completely stop it. First Fusion Strike system here, drawing up to 6, and we found that Lost City. That Mew player is super excited right now, I'm sure. Lost City, whenever a Pokemon is KO'd, it goes into the Lost Zone instead of the discard pile. So the Drapion will be sent to the Lost Zone when it gets KO'd, so it cannot be recovered with something like Super Rod. Alright, Lost Vacuum being played to send a card to the Lost Zone and send a one of the useless now Forest Seal Stones to the Lost Zone, just to thin the hand down for a more powerful Fusion Strike system number 2 here. drawing up to 6 cards. Just want to get ready for next turn now. We have the Lost City in play. Choice Belt being put onto the bench. Mew V. Third Fusion Strike System, drawing more cards, more resources for next turn. And Mew will copy Techno Blast, powered up by that Power Tablet to take the KO on the opposing Drapion and send it to the Lost Zone. Damage Comfey comes up and play resumes on the Lost Zone side of things. Let's see how they can respond. Flower selecting, sending useless Manaphy to the Lost Zone. Useless in this matchup, of course. We love you, Manaphy. Don't worry. 7 cards in the Lost Zone here. That is a threshold that's met. The Mirage Gate's online now. Course Experiment. First Course Experiment in the game. Looks like an easy one, too. You look at the top 5 cards. You send 2 of them to the Lost Zone and keep the other 3. Useless Battle VIP passes at this point in the game are easily sent to the Lost Zone. The other 3 cards kept. Massive Lost Zone hand we're seeing here. Radiant Greninja discards an energy to draw a couple more cards, thanks to its Concealed Cards ability. Pokestop being put into play, countering that Lost City. Gonna look at the top 3 and hoping for all items here. Nope, 2 energy go into the loss, or into the discard pile. And the escape rope is kept. It's okay for the energy to hit the discard pile here in these Lost Zone decks because they play plenty of recoveries such as Super Rods. Alright, so can we get a meaningful attack here? If you attack with the Cramorant, the opposing Mew VMAX can always use Psychic Leap to shuffle itself back into the deck and erase that damage and the turn, essentially, so that's always a scary thing. We're going to start off with an Escape Rope for the opponent. It's going to promote a new active Pokemon. We're going to see that Genesect come up. Mew with free retreat's always a good choice, but it just depends on what's in hand. Alright, second flower selecting coming down. Looked like it was between Dragonite and Bravery Charm. I think you have to keep the Dragonite at this point. The Bravery Charm definitely has its teched out uses here, but I mean, come on, that Dragonite's your attacker. And right now we have 0 attackers, aside from the Greninja. I guess we got some Greninja play here, but yep, the Bravery Charm hitting the Lost Zone there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the Lost Zone. We hit our 3rd threshold in these Lost Zone decks. Now Sableye Lost Mine is online. Let's see who the Lost Zone's attacker is going to be in this instance. Cramorant wouldn't be so bad now that Genesect V is in the active spot. Looks like we're eyeing up that Sableye. Super Rod being played to shuffle back some resources from the discard to the deck, basic energy or Pokemon. Looks like 3 basic energy, all 3 different colors being shuffled back in. Mirage Gate being played. As long as there are 7 or more cards in the Lost Zone, you could play Mirage Gate to search the deck for 2 different basic energy and attach it to your Pokemon in any way you like. So imagine we'll see 1 to the active and 1 to the Sableye. Just depends on what's in hand. There we go. Water to the active, Comfey. Psychic, powering up that Sableye on the bench with its powerful Lost Mine attack. Lost Mine, if there's 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone, you may put 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. Water energy being manually attached to the Greninja for turn here. Nest Ball being played to search the deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto the bench. Cramorant being found. So definitely not out of the realm of possibility to see a Cramorant attack here, but I think we're more so going to see the Sableye attack since there's the 2 retreat cost Genesect V in the active spot. There we go. Retreat into the Sableye and Lost Mine to spread some damage here. Let's see where it goes. 8 on the Mew V and 3 on the Genesect V. Alright, let's do some math here. or actually 9, excuse me, 9 on the Mu V, leaving it with 100, no, with 80 HP left. And Genesect V takes 3, with leaving it with 160 left. So we're setting up some big brain math plays here, right? Play resumes over on the Mu side. Mu V Max evolves on the bench, giving it way more HP. But now that there's no Mu V in play, Psychic Leap is not an option. Starting things off with the Cramomatic. Cramomatic was heads there. So now the deck can be searched for any card. Any card the Mew player thinks they need right now, they could find. Thanks, Cramomatic. So you want to knock out the active Pokemon, so maybe a way to switch double turbo energy is found with that Cramomatic most likely, and Judge will be played. Some disruption here. Both players shuffle their hands into their deck and then draw 4 cards. This is a good comeback into the Lost Zone deck. As you see, they love to build their hand up huge, so that way they have all the options for any situation. But Judge says, no thanks, you just get 4 cards, 4 random cards. Mew also doesn't mind a Judge being played because it could draw back up with that Fusion Strike system. The Genesect can, of course. Genesect retreats into the Mew VMAX and then uses Fusion Strike system to draw up to 6 cards. And Mew attacks. I'm sure they copy the bench Mew VMAX Max Miracle to do 130 damage to that Sableye. More than enough to take the KO. Damage Comfey is promoted. Play resumes on the Lost Zone side. Did Mew get started a little bit too quickly? They also sent that Drapion right to the Lost Zone when they needed to as well. Mirage Gate being played here to search the deck for 2 different basic energy. Just a basic water going to be found and put on to that Greninja. Greninja can KO the Meloetta and set up some damage on another Pokemon. Lightning being attached to the Radiant Greninja. The active Comfey uses Flower Selecting, sending a Escape Rope to the Lost Zone and keeping the other card. Switch Cart being played to heal off some damage from that Comfey and switch into the Greninja. Pokestop being played to send a Chorus Experiment and a Comfey to the Lost Zone. Found the Pow Pad at least, so they can recover a couple of those Chorus Experiment, shuffling them from the discard pile back into the deck. Alright, so I imagine we'll see the Greninja use its Moonlight Shuriken attack. It can do 90 damage to 2 of the opponent's Pokemon. So 90 onto the Meloetta to take the KO, and then 90 onto the active Mew VMAX. Okay. Alright, we're setting up some math here. Play resumes over on Mew VMAX side, who really just needs to KO the Radiant Greninja. Both of these Mew are in range of a Dragonite KO, something to keep in mind. Fusion Strike Energy attached to the bench, Mew VMAX, Pow Pad being played to shuffle back into the deck from the discard up to 2 supporters. That Roxanne going back into the deck. Roxanne, the comeback card. The first comeback card, like it in this format. Let me know in the comments if there's other ones that I'm missing. Of course, Iono, but that one came after Roxanne. A Power Tablet being played, boosting the damage of the Fusion Strike Pokemon's attacks by 30. Not really needed here, but getting it out of the hand so they could draw more with Fusion Strike system most likely. Boss's orders being debated here. Yes, Boss's orders to bring up a new active Pokemon on your opponent's side from the bench. I don't know. Comfey being targeted, the fresh Comfey. Okay. Kind of whittling away at the Lost Engine here and taking the KO with Max Miracle on that Comfey. Alright, one prize left for our Mew player. What can our Lost Zone player do here? Pokestop? Ooh, sending a Chorus and finding a couple more items. Chorus to discard a couple more items to the hand. Nest Ball being played to search the deck for that Raikou V. Raikou V does damage based off of all the bench Pokemon in play, but we're seeing that Dragonite come into play as well. The active Comfey used a flower selecting to send a Course Experiment to the Lost Zone and keep a Super Rod, maybe. Super Rod going to shuffle back in 3 different basic energy from the discard to the deck. They're immediately going to be pulled out of the deck with that Mirage Gate. A Water and a Lightning being attached to that Dragonite V thanks to Mirage Gate there. And Clara being played. Clara lets you put from your discard pile 2 basic energy and 2 Pokemon to your hand, but all that's needed is just the water energy to power up this Dragonite V. Switch cart into the Dragonite V. Dragonite V does 250 damage to that 3 prize Mew VMAX, taking the last 3 prizes of the game and round 1. Very exhilarating game 1 we had here for the League Cup. What do you guys think of this video and the commentary? Please let me know in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.